Okay, so we are live on Soulfield Sunday. Such a joy to see you all as you pop in, especially those of you who arrive a few minutes early and we get to have a little chat. It's so lovely. And it's also such a blessing to be with those of you who are joining us in the eternal now. And so we'll take a moment, we'll light our candles if you have a candle to light. If not, I'm lighting the candle for all of us. The candle that represents that filament, that flame that we're working with this series, the eternal light that connects us to the very source, that is beyond story, that is beyond concept, but is simply what is so. And we invite you all to just begin dropping in. We're so blessed to live lives directed by soul. We're so blessed to live a life where we're intending that soul is in the center. And so we come into the soul field together, into the place where there is infinite support for our unfolding, into the place where we remember who we really are. And as you drop in, you feel connection to breath. You feel yourself coming down into the pelvic bowl, really landing in this moment, landing in this now, inviting yourself to be fully present, to receive as completely as you possibly can the sacred support that is just there in the soul field, the sacred support that will come through the transmission today. And the sacred support that arises from you sitting down inside your own vessel. And so we'll open for a moment with intention the portal, about a foot above the top of our heads, the portal to the temple of divine perfection. This is literally just opened with your intent, and it's energy that is no longer needed. It'll simply sort of siphon up through that portal whatever we're complete with, whatever is no longer serving, whatever may not have been ours in the first place to hang on to. We're just letting that all go, and that our great spirit can land more fully, take up all the spaces where those things that are complete were living. And while you're in this moment, just notice, just take a little moment to notice, how are you feeling today as you're arriving? What are you bringing with you? Are there any intentions or desires for this time? And if you'd like, it would be wonderful. It's a way to really sort of affirm and enter into the field those desires. Feel free to type in the chat. What are you bringing with you? What are you desiring? What are you hoping for? What are your intentions today? Or even just in general, that we can all affirm that. This is our second series on the filament. Our sovereignty depends on it. And today we're going to really be working with claiming the power of sacred source, claiming the power of our soul. I love the intentions coming in. And we're also affirming the intentions of those of you who are watching in the eternal now. And so we will start by attuning our instruments to the frequency of this series with our affirmations. As you remember, most likely, we tap at the thymus, or we rub around the earlobe during our affirmations to help get that energy in our body, so that we're communicating to our biospiritual system. This is who I am. This is how I'm being. This is what I am living. And that starts to literally move our molecules into a different way of vibrating. It literally moves us into resonance. And so really think about what you're saying, really feel it as you repeat. And we have the blessing of Sandy as our sacred temple tender, and so she will lead all of you. I activate and attune to the filament connecting me to eternal life wisdom.
I activate and attune to the filament connecting me to eternal life wisdom.
As a steward of this light, I prepare my body temple to receive increasing luminosity.
As a steward of this light, I prepare my body temple to receive increasing luminosity.
In this now, I declare my soul in communion with Source as sovereign within this biospiritual system.
In this now, I declare my soul in communion with Source as a sovereign within this biospiritual system.
I live and love for the highest good of all beings.
I live and love for the highest of good of all beings.
We are free.
We are free.
I activate and attune to the filament connecting me to eternal life wisdom.
I activate and attune to the filament connecting me to eternal life wisdom.
As a steward of this light, I prepare my body temple to receive increasing luminosity.
As a steward of this light, I prepare my body temple to receive increasing luminosity.
In this now, I declare my soul in communion with Source as sovereign within this biospiritual system.
In this now, I declare my soul in communion with Source as sovereign within this biospiritual system.
I live and love for the highest good of all beings.
I live and love for the highest good of all beings.
We are free.
We are free.
I activate and attune to the filament connecting me to eternal life wisdom.
I activate and attune to the filament connecting me to eternal life wisdom.
As a steward of this light, I prepare my body temple to receive increasing luminosity.
As a steward to this light, I prepare my body temple to receive increasing luminosity.
In this now, I declare my soul in communion with Source as sovereign within this biospiritual system.
In this now, I declare my soul in communion with the Source as a sovereign within the biospiritual system.
I live and love for the highest good of all beings.
I live and love for the highest good of all beings.
We are free.
We are free.
You know what? In my excitement to get started, I forgot our opening prayer. But we're all now vibrating in such a way that I think that prayer is going to have a whole different thing. I'm just like, here we go, everyone. I'm going to say our opening prayer because I really feel it's important and it feels like somehow perfect. And Sandy's going to read for us beautifully in Spanish today. We come with grateful, reverent, and open hearts to drink from the deep well of our eternal nature. As we dive into the soul field together, we are held within a sacred and holy embrace by the source of all love, light, and grace. In this eternal now, we actively invoke our unique pathways to Source and the beings of love light that support our divine evolving. We allow our mind, body, spirit, as we already have, to expand into the holy realms where magic and miracles are commonplace. As we minister to ourselves, we minister to one another and our family humanity. We recognize we are one in the holy wholeness. We allow all we do here today to ripple out through our lives as a living witness of divine grace for the benefit of all our relations.
Con corazones abiertos, reverentes y llenos de gratitud, Venimos a beber del profundo pozo de nuestra naturaleza eterna. Al sumergirnos juntos en el campo del alma, somos envueltos en un abrazo sagrado por la fuente de todo amor, luz, gracia divina. En esta hora eterna, invocamos nuestros caminos hacia el Creador y hacia los seres de amor y luz que apoyan nuestra evolución divina. Permitimos que nuestro cuerpo, alma y espíritu se expandan hacia los reinos sagrados donde la magia y los milagros ocurren constantemente. A medida que nos amamos a nosotros mismos, así amamos al prójimo y a toda nuestra familia humana, reconociendo que somos uno en la totalidad sagrada. Permitamos que todo lo que se haga aquí hoy repercute en nuestras vidas como un testimonio vivo de la Sagrada Divina para el beneficio de todos.
I also realized that I had the not noise canceling, so you all have been hearing the background of my space heater. It's really cold here. Today, I'm just so excited to get going. I'm just like racing ahead of myself. And so I'm going to just land. When spirit really inspires me, which is often, I'm so blessed for that. Thank you. I want to give you all of it. I want to give you everything. I just like, and in particular today, I feel that what is coming is sort of this really strong calling, and it's a calling us into, and it's a calling into a kind of attunement that I believe is truly life-changing and sometimes not easy. The beauty of being together, the beauty of us in community is that we're upholding each other. And that's part of what we say in our prayer. We get that. When we enter into the soul field together, when we vibrate like this together, we are an offering for one another. And our energy is amplified. And this isn't just like a nice story. There is actually serious research that shows this is so. And we're on different places on the globe. And so we're sort of creating this pulse, right? And we're actually even together in different time spaces in the eternal now. So this pulse is moving through time and space. And this is what we get to do today, to really claim the power that is ours to claim. We're moving right now into the darkest time of year in the Bay Area. It's been completely overcast for weeks, which is very unusual, colder than normal. I know there are lots of other places that are also having way more extreme versions of our little, oh, it's been foggy and cold. But we're really moving toward that place. And this time of year, in many traditions, is a time where we prepare for the return of the light, where we recognize the importance of the darkness and that sort of internal draw that it has. And in the meantime, we're polishing our soul light and we're preparing for more illumination. We understand that in those places, it's sort of a seasonal remembrance, that in those places that feel like the darkest places, in those places that, oh, this makes me cry, that feel like the most painful places, and the places where there's no sun and it's really cold and maybe even feels treacherous, that the light is there and it is growing and it is returning. And that our strength in those moments come from remembering that and plugging in. And so this energy that we're working with this series, some of you were here the first time, and for those of you who weren't, we're working with the energy that I'm calling the filament. And I'm just going to kind of repeat this. I was given this vision of a light that cannot be broken, that is our connection beyond stories of how we might call God, goddess, source, divinity, beyond language, that is simply the isness of us plugged into the very breath of creation, the eternal wisdom out of which all form unfolds. When we are plugged in there with intention, when we amplify that, that's where our true power lives. And the masters that have walked this earth know this. The ones that, I think so dearly of my beloved Yogananda, who had has a gorgeous Hermitage and gardens in Encinitas. When I lived in San Diego, I'd commune there often. And he was so in that sacred filament that if a picture were to be taken of him and he didn't intend to show up, there would just be no one there. He was just the vibration of the divine, popping in and out of time, popping in and out of space. And there are so many others. This is simply one example that I'm sharing of being so intimately woven with that filament, and that filament so fully vibrating in their body that the laws of Newtonian physics simply don't apply, that they literally live in the quantum. And this is us too. This is ours to claim too. And where we get tripped up is that we have been taught from the time we are knee-high to a grasshopper that our power lives outside of us. We have been taught that it's in the candle that I light, or the supplement that I take, or that practice that I do, or the fact that I eat these certain foods or don't eat these certain foods, or take these medications or don't take these medications, or associate with these people or don't associate with these people, or go to that synagogue or temple or don't go to that, like we've been taught that that's where the power is, and that we have to be good, like stay on that regimen, make sure you eat those certain foods. And I get it. We all have bodily experiences, emotional experiences, mental experiences, that those things are supportive, and I'm not saying they aren't. But where we get tripped up is that we place the power there. And my tradition that I was raised in Catholicism, there's just all these sort of like biblical things that run in my consciousness. And one of them is, sort of one of the 10 commandments that was given. And one of the commandments is, thou shalt not put false gods before me. And this has been taken in a religiosity way to be like, this is the one true God, Jesus, or this is the one true God, whatever, right? I can name them all, and I'm not going to. But if we really listen to that, at the very fabric of that sentence is that all of those things external pale in comparison. They're not even totally real. They're a fabrication of our co-creation. But what is real is that filament, that sacred that you cannot be divided from. And that when you turn to it, when you intend to amplify it, when you prepare your temple to receive more and more illumination from that, which is the point of the vitamins and the eating and the practices and whatever, it's the preparation of the temple, to vibrate with that frequency, not just in a moment, not just right now while we're together in the soul field, but every moment of every day. Ooh, I can feel, I'm like, woo! I'm on the pulpit right now. When we have been taught these things, to place these false gods before us. We make adaptations of consciousness from a disempowered place. And then those adaptations of consciousness direct our perception, our orientation, and our action. And they direct our biospiritual system. Literally, they tell our nervous system, freeze, something terrible's happening. Run for your life. You better fight or you're going to be in trouble. You better make nice, like just be really tender and kind and sweet so you don't rock the boat. And not that there's anything wrong with doing these things. Sometimes it is time to move out of the way. Sometimes it is time to pause, not freeze, but pause. It's very powerful to be kind and loving. Sometimes we have to stand up. But when these choices come from those ancient disempowerments and the programming of a culture that wants to control us, rather than from the wisdom of the eternal light that runs through that filament that is now illuminating our biospiritual system, we find ourselves in pain. And we actually create that pain. We co-create that pain. We co-create that pain through the self-talk, through the ways that we tell ourselves, this one's like that, and that one's like this, and I'm like this, and this is how it is. And these are false stories, by the way, but we believe they're really real. And they look real because that person really is behaving like that. Like that just happened. It actually happened. I saw it. The person next to me saw it. It's not totally a figment of my imagination. But is that what's real? And what is my real and true response to that? I can't know if I'm not plugged into that filament. And if I'm not actively calling that eternal light here into my body to inform me. And not only that, when I act without that, I contribute to the train wreck of whatever is there. And we all do this all the time. There's no judgment as I say this. It's for us to become more and more aware. This is the point of a spiritual journey. It's the point of the soul field work, is to bring those sparks of awareness that create choice and that sit us down in the soul level driver's seat of our lives so that we can create the most beauty moment to moment, so that we can glorify the grace that is here for us. That is what we are intending, right? So I'm going to pause the recording. I want to hear what's moving, what's stirring, what's being activated, and then we'll speak a little bit more. For those of you who are watching via recording, just take a moment, jot down some notes, journal a little bit, contemplate a little bit. What is moving in you? And so coming back after a little chat, the question comes, and I promised I would answer that while we're all together, like, how do I do that, right? how do I stay plugged in? And just how it can start to blow our mind when we really recognize how much power we've given to all the things. And the first thing that comes into awareness as the question was asked is think about how much time and thought throughout the day you put into what you're going to eat, when you're going to eat it, what supplements you need to buy or not buy, what appointments you need to make with what practitioners or not, what bills you need to make sure you get handled and blah, blah, blah. And Not that there's anything wrong with that, but could you say to yourself that you put that much thought into, am I deeply plugged in to the very source? Is that filament of light central and predominant right now as I do whatever it is I do? And the answer, my guess is probably no. In the Mystical Women's membership, right now we're doing this sadhana practice. And in the sadhana practice, we are spending 5 minutes. It's a very short amount of time. And then we're sort of intending throughout the day to be in the awareness of that. But I can tell you, sometimes even I have had the experience of like, oh my gosh, the day's gone by and I didn't do that yet. Right? How many times does the day go by? And even though we've intended it, we didn't do that yet. We didn't take 30 seconds or 3 minutes or 30 minutes or 3 hours to plug in. We'll go sit in the sauna for an hour and a half and make sure we do the cold plunge after, or go for the bike ride, or whatever the thing is. Right? And part of this is our programming. We've been taught that everything else is more important than soul for the most part, with some exception. Like I was blessed to go to parochial school. Soul was woven into the day. But it was one class period or one time when we went to mass, not at the beginning of every class period or in the middle of it or at the end of it. Wasn't at the beginning of break. Right. We've been taught to put soul in a box, and it's this thing here, and the mind that has to do all the things is doing all the things all the time, doing all the things, tracking all the things, making sure all the things are handled, because if all the things aren't handled, I won't be safe. And therein lies the rub. If I don't do all the things, I won't be safe. And so all the things take precedent. And then if we have that nervous system that developed in an environment where we actually didn't feel safe, and we developed these patterns of fighting or flighting or freezing or taking over responsibility or whatever, which may look nice on the outside. I'm so nice and I'm so sweet and I do everybody's job. Or I don't say anything when somebody, really misbehaves in my direction. I just go quiet. Look at her, she can handle it. Well, maybe. Or maybe we're not sitting down in the power and the nervous system is running amok, because the nervous system is meant to be written upon by our soul. The very light, that filament, is meant to code. We are meant to have the divine mother and the divine father, not just our human experience. And when the human experience predominates over soul, when we spend more time in the thought field than in the soul field, our biospiritual system will struggle, because it's designed to be powered by soul. We are designed to be powered by soul. And that is where our sovereignty is. And soul is so simple. Can you feel the vibration in your body right now? Can you feel that you are vibrating with soul? I hope so. I feel like we are vibrating with soul. This is our true power. This is your true power. And I'm not suggesting that you stop tending that you just all of a sudden eat things that you know your body doesn't like, or, stop taking the medication or supplements that support you. I'm not saying that. But as you do that, whatever that is, don't get lost in the illusion that that's where the power is. And maybe, just maybe, start naming where your real power is. And maybe those things just become less needed. And or maybe they work so powerfully in ways that they never did before. Or maybe you're just finding a place that feels somewhat okay in the midst of a terrible storm that's showing up in your life. And you're remembering in that place that feels okay, I am called to this moment. And the only way I can engage with this moment in sacred truth is if I'm plugged in. And so you put plug in as the most important thing, as the center of every action, as a thing you do before every thought, before every action. That's where the sacred support lives. I have watched this time and again in my own life. When I calibrate to where I'm meant to be, the things around me change. And they just do. People show up differently, circumstances change. The way I feel about a thing totally changes. And all I did was adjust myself slightly and attune to that filament. And in that space, sometimes I boldly speak up in ways I never expected myself to. And I say things, and sometimes they're not super nice, but they're what's need to be said. And sometimes I'm silent and I just let things go by, but I'm not frozen. And I'm not trying to be nice so that something bad doesn't happen. And when I'm saying those intense, sometimes not nice words, it's not because I'm trying to pick a fight or I think I need to fight. It's because the light of truth is coming through, and that's what that moment calls for. So this moment calls for some sacred support, some calibration around this at the level of our biospiritual system. And we're going to shift into our meditation practice. And today, our meditation is going to include the invocation of a sacred geometric light emanation. And I want to speak just briefly about it, and just briefly because I spoke really a lot about the other stuff. I'm tracking the time. We're calling 3 flames. The first flame is the flame of Immaculate Warrior, and it's about taking down the self-imposed armor so that we can totally receive that light of source. It's about helping us balance the polarities and the ways where we don't understand how things reconcile by connecting us to the Holy Third. It's about bringing us into a place of sacred connection where we're not in an either or us them, where we're in the soul, S-O-U-L, the solution, where we see the magnificence of the design and we understand what we're called to and we know our part and we pick it up and take it with courage. This is the flame of Immaculate Warrior. We're also bringing in the flame of celestial invocation. This is the flame of invoking the angelic and star realms to come and assist us, but also to activate within our own biology the 12 stranded DNA that lets us vibrate fully with the filament of light that we are, that lets us become the angels and the beings of the stars that walk between the worlds and manifest beauty. And we're also calling in the flame. I just forgot which one it is now. Oh, yeah. Ultimate full circle completion. Ultimate full circle completion. This flame says it's time to be done with this disempowered way of walking. You have learned so much from this process. The places of disempowerment have been rich for your growth. And you've walked that wheel, you understand it. And now it's time. It's time to be complete with that way of being and to live from soul. And so our sacred yes to the flames today is a yes that says, come in and help me. These flames are going to come in under the soles of the feet, like almost like serpents, and they'll cross at the soles of the feet and weave out, cross at the ankles, cross at the knees, cross at the root. They'll cross at the centers along the midline, the sacral center, the belly button, the solar plexus, the heart, the ascension heart, the throat, the third eye, the crown, and then they'll weave back down. And as they move through each of the energy centers, they're activating, cleansing, clearing, and balancing the energy there. They're helping weaving these centers of connection with one another so that we have greater intercommunication in our biospiritual system, so that as that filament moves, it activates through the whole system. We have a holistic way of being that comes from that. And they're a way of saying, I choose the filament. That's where my sovereignty is. I choose that. And so I invite you to close your eyes, to allow yourself to begin to settle in to your own body. To begin to find your way into the breath, into a connection with our earth. Feel that with the breath, you can expand your body. The breath goes to the sides, and there's this ability to laterally feel the breath coming. And register as you're doing this that this sacred moment is a moment you have been called to. You have been called here by that filament of light, linking you to eternal life wisdom, beyond the stories that you've been told, beyond the concepts that you hold. And you know it, and you feel it, and you feel and sense, and maybe you even see that filament of light. And you begin to amplify, to give it permission to illumine your entire body more fully. Every cell, every molecule woken up by the light of truth that simply is, that you are. And you breathe and you feel how good it is. And you especially invite that light into the base of the skull and into the nervous system. Let that light recalibrate all those myelin sheaths, recalibrate all the stories in the nervous system, rewrite the truth into your biology. And as this is happening, open yourself to this light and to the intelligent light frequencies of the flames to ready your biospiritual system to receive it even more. And so we call forth the flame of Immaculate Warrior, the flame that's shades of brown, gold, gray, and white light. We call forth the flame of Celestial Invocation, the flame that's this beautiful crystalline ice blue light. We call forth the flame of ultimate full circle completion, the flame that's shimmering shades of green and pink lights, to come into underneath the soles of each of our feet and form the serpent flames that will cross at the soles of the feet, weave out, cross at the ankles, the knees, the root, the sacral, the belly button, on up to the crown in the way and rate that's just right for each of us. And when the flames reach the crown, they'll weave back down and they'll keep cycling in this way, up and down and through the energy body, activating, balancing, reminding, recalibrating in service to your deeper receptivity of that eternal life wisdom that you are intimately woven with. That light can vibrate in this body temple fully in all the moments, in all the dimensions, in all the time spaces. And as you continue to receive and allow, I'll play our song for this series. That is an affirmation of everything we've talked about.
things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 Yeah. I am light. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. All light. Oh, light. Yeah. Oh, light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. Yeah. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light.
And gently bring yourself back. Let's just take a couple moments together. Sometimes it's hard coming out of a deep place like that. I'm going to pause the recording. I invite those of you watching the Eternal Now to just notice what's here. What do you feel? Take a moment for contemplation. One of the things I'll name, just from some of the things that were shared in the group time, is that when we do this, when we allow that illumination, we expand, and we become less the physical and more the ethereal, more the soul. And it doesn't mean we don't operate in the physical realm. Someone joining us today is at the airport, and they were saying, like, what if there was someone else doing this? And then what's the field? And how does life become different if I recognize I'm not alone doing this? We're not alone doing this. And any moment you choose to plug in, you're not alone. Someone else on this vast planet is totally plugging into. And there's power in that weaving and a blessing in that. I'm going to invite our sacred temple tender to share our announcements for today.
Sorry, one second. So we are so grateful that you have chosen to spend a bit of your precious time of your life to be in sacred presence with us in Soulfield. If you'd like more information, transformational support, links to our YouTube videos collection, to the Soulfield events to populate on your calendar, which is really great, or just to connect with soul-minded beings, you can go to soulfield.org. That is soulfield.org. Without your donation and tithing generously, Soulfield would not be possible. So we deeply bow to you, the people that commute and make this Soulfield happen regularly as part of your spiritual gift giving. We're thrilled to have many of you joining in the Eternal Now via recording. Please remember to like and comment on our videos and follow us on YouTube channel. Thank you in advance for helping others find us. Our next live meditation is Wednesday, December 17th at 5:10 p.m. On our next Soulfield experience is Sunday, January 11th at 11 a.m., both Pacific time via Zoom. Please note there will be no Soulfield experience on 12/28/2025. We have a live meditation on January 7th at our 5:10 p.m. time. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy, for helping with all that you've helped with today. It's such a blessing to have those of you offering to be the sacred temple tender. I just appreciate it so much. And we are approaching, I just want to say, I noticed this today. The first Soulfield on January 11th in 2026 will be our 50th Soulfield experience, which blows my mind. And it's so amazing. And so I really would love it so much if you can try to arrange to be here live. It would be so great to celebrate 50 times of coming together in this sacred way. We will share our closing prayer and say goodbye for now. We're deeply grateful to have experienced miraculous communion with our holy wholeness in the soul field. We wholeheartedly receive the upliftment of one another's communion and blessed soul light. As we close this formal gathering, we each in our own way will continue dwelling in the soul field and supporting our collective evolution. With deep gratitude, we thank one another and all our angels, guides, and guardians. Remembering as we minister to ourselves, we uplift one another. We encourage the magic we co-created to ripple out to all our relations for the benefit of all beings.
Estamos profundamente agradecidos de haber vivenciado esta comunión de nuestros seres sagrados en el campo del alma. De todo corazón recibimos esta elevación del sacramento de cada uno de nosotros y de nuestra bendecida luz del alma. Al culminar esta congregación, cada uno de nosotros, de manera propia, continuaremos viviendo en el campo del alma y apoyando nuestra evolución colectiva. Con profunda gratitud, agradecemos el uno al otro y a nuestros ancestros, ángeles, guías y guardianes de luz, recordando que cuando nos amamos a nosotros mismos, amamos y elevamos al prójimo, alentando la magia que nos acabamos de co-crear para que se expanda a nuestras comunidades, de manera que todos los seres se beneficien.
Thank you. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your sacred yes. I'm upholding you and loving every single one of you. And I'll see you soon. Have blessed holidays in whatever way you celebrate or don't celebrate. And I'll see you Wednesday for meditation and then in the new year. Mwah.